why N8N is overrated and what to do instead if you are serious about making money online. Because everyone says N8N is the future. Everyone says N8N is the best thing. But here's why I ditched it and what actually works better if you want to sign clients and get those clients results, which I'm sure you do watching this. And if you don't know who I am, very quick introduction. My name's Charlie, and I was one of the first to make content in the AI space. 2 years ago, I was talking about this kind of stuff, not N8N, but just other AI automations before any of these newer people popped up, right? So yeah, it's prevalent that there's a lot of search volume nowadays for this platform called N8N, where you can build automations, you can build, solutions and so forth. But just look at the sheer volume of this. And I'm going to explain why this is a negative in this video, and just 3 other reasons why you shouldn't be trying to learn this platform if you want to make money, right? If that's your sole objective. But I could make so much more money and get so many more views on my channel if I talked about this kind of software. But I can't do that. It's not within my values to give you a business model or a software that I just don't think is good for beginners if you are just trying to make money. It's just not the best way to go about it. So yeah, stick to the end of the video to explain, or to learn, sorry, the better way to go about it. But very first, I want to explain why this is not a good thing. So number one, we have the Gartner hype chart, and another name for this is the technology adoption hype cycle, basically stating that you see a trend online, you see a trigger, so N8N for this example, and you have really high expectations of the software. Then what happens is you actually try and use it, and you have to go through this trough of disillusionment, and it's tough. Like, you struggle and it's not fun, right? And then you have the slope of enlightenment, and then you kind of plateau. But this kind of links very closely to this term called entropy, which is obviously a science term, and it's just the inevitable tendency of organizations and their processes to become disorganized, efficient, and chaotic over time. And keep watching, so I'm going to explain a better way to just make money and get clients if you're starting for whatever you want to sell, whether it is AI or automation. But everything is designed to depreciate over time. Think about a car. You drive that car, even if you don't drive that car, it's going to depreciate. It'll go down in value. Same with houses. Even us humans are kind of designed to age over time. And what increases this decline is usage, consumption, and wear. And thousands of people, as you can see from the search volume, are literally learning this platform, which means the competitiveness is brutal. So everyone is going down this route of, N8N and all this stuff. And there's just so much noise around it, you're bound to get overwhelmed and don't really know where to start. As well as I said, it's just competitive as hell. So there is a better way to go about it, which I'll explain if you keep watching. But the second reason is the learning curve is insanely steep. And I've noticed this with people in my community. They've spent weeks trying to learn N8N, make.com. Make.com is obviously a lot easier, but people have spent months or weeks learning this platform just to have done nothing. And most often I see this with beginners, that they use this kind of platform as a procrastination method to avoid doing the kind of friction tasks, like getting clients. So instead of just making money, I see people playing around with these fancy automations, which is very comfortable. It's easy to sit down and spend a few hours building an automation. But this is most often than not simply to avoid growth, because growing is painful. And yeah, this is the opportunity cost. In the time you've spent messing around with this platform, you could have done marketing, you could have gotten better at sales, better at fulfillment by actually getting clients and learning through the process. And this is what matters. And keep watching, because I need you to understand what I'm going to tell you to do otherwise. But this kind of links to it, right? You should be actually doing empirical tasks and getting empirical knowledge by doing. So if you were to put yourself out there and build as you go, that's so much better than just spending weeks or months trying to learn this platform. So if you aren't ashamed by your first product, then you've launched too late. By a quote, this quote is by Reid Hoffman, and it's very true. Most people try and perfect their product, learning these platforms, when in reality, you should just get clients and learn as you go. And you can obviously just adapt your pricing to make it more affordable. You can have a guarantee in there so you can give them a refund, but you get the point. Like, I see so many people waste time just procrastinating with this tool, as well as there's too much hype around it. This is kind of why I'm telling you not to use this if you are a beginner. And the next one is just business application. The gurus you watch who are talking about these N8N automations, they look sick on paper. They look really dope, but no one really uses them, to be honest. And I can guarantee you that your favorite gurus probably haven't like sold any of these N8N automations. They make money from you watching the video because business owners don't really care about the tech or the messy wires. They want leads, they want bookings, they want customers, clients, conversions, and there's better platforms to learn and implement to get these results where you're getting appointments and so forth for clients, right? Because in reality, you should just pick a market, pick a pain point, find a solution, and then make money. But how should you fulfill shouldn't really be mentioned. Like, it doesn't really matter, it's irrelevant whether you use N8N, whether you use make.com, whether you use HighLevel. It's like, yeah, I just wouldn't worry about that, to be honest. Like, that's just the kind of back end mechanism. But in my opinion, N8N just isn't the way to go about it. Like, if you want to build, let's say, a website chatbot, you can do that so easy using what I'm going to explain in the next like 2 minutes. But yeah, just from a practical standpoint, this platform that I'm going to give you is just so much better for delivering tangible results, ROIs, which you kind of have to do for clients. If you're going to be charging 5,000, 10,000, even 2,000, 1,000, you need to show them an ROI. And sure, you can build like WhatsApp, customer support. You can do pretty much anything on N8N. I just don't think it's worth the actual investment when you can. If you want to get this done, you could just hire someone on like Upwork or Fiverr to do this. But if I was you, I would focus on the actual skills of marketing, sales, communications with clients, relationship building. And that is where you'd be so much better off spending your time rather than just procrastinating on this tool. So the platform that I would recommend is HighLevel. Now, if you are a beginner, you probably haven't heard of this. If you are a marketer, you've been in the space for a while, you've probably heard of this. But it's just so much more practical for getting ROI for clients because you can sell websites, review systems, pipelines, calendars, funnels, automations, and it's so much easier to deploy this into an actual like business. So let's say you want to deploy WhatsApp. You can do that inside HighLevel. They have a WhatsApp integration. Or if you don't want to use the HighLevel native one, sure, you can use a third party like Closebot or AppointWise. Like, there's so many just done for you kind of automations and platforms where you're not having to build from complete scratch like N8N. And I know some of you are just going to say, oh, you can get a template in N8N, but you still have to connect the nodes. You still have to do things that if you're a beginner, it's still going to be complicated and you're just going to waste time when you could just be selling things out of the box already. And as everyone goes one way, as I was explaining here, people are just going down this N8N route. I would highly recommend you go down the other way, which, yeah, is so much better because if you want to be a leveraged marketer and not just someone that is a software engineer, because sure, if you want to be a software engineer, you can learn N8N and it's going to be an amazing platform for you. But out of the people that I hang out with and network with who have done insane like numbers, none of them like would use N8N in their business. They are just marketers. They are people that know how to gather attention. And that's where I think you should spend your time instead of procrastinating on a software like this. And hopefully this is making sense a little bit. Because yeah, like HighLevel, for example, you're using it more for the time you put in because it's two-dimensional, meaning you can get clients, you can do SMS campaigns, cold email campaigns, you can do things like that really easily, and you can also serve clients using it as well. And does it cost money? Sure. Like N8N is technically free, but they have a cloud option, I think. They did when I last used it, but HighLevel does have a 14-day free trial, which I think is good because you can use urgency to try and get a client in those 14 days rather than procrastinating on N8N for 14 days. Like, that's just going to be such a better use of your time, is talking to your market, talking to your niche, even if you're not sure what you're selling, but you just have this concept of using HighLevel for the back end, whether you're setting up a website for them, whether you're setting up automations for them, you can do that inside HighLevel, everything. And it's just so much more practical. And that's kind of the point I want to give in this video. And to prevent you from getting stuck in this like analysis paralysis phase where you're seeing so many videos on N8N on these fancy automations, but in reality, they're not actually making you money. And I think it's really important to be conscious every day of where your time is going and what you're actually focusing on. So imagine you're a fly on the wall, looking in at yourself on your desk. What are you doing each day? Are you watching YouTube? Are you just building automations for the sake of it? Or are you actually talking to your market, talking to your niche, understanding their pain points, and then problem solving and getting solutions around that, which is what you should be doing. And I think, yeah, tools like HighLevel and third-party apps, which you can link to HighLevel, are just, they've already done kind of the hard work for you. It's so much easier just to put a prompt in. But sure, if you want to learn N8N and you want to be a software engineer, like go for it, or a dev, like go for it. But I just don't think it's the best for people who are on YouTube. I think you can learn skills of marketing, sales, and just go from there. And then you can even just hire someone to do the N8N kind of integration if you wanted to do that, if you want to use N8N. But I wouldn't kind of learn that skill for yourself. I would stick to marketing, sales, building relationships with clients, and stuff. So hopefully you found this video helpful, and obviously it's a controversial one. Like, I know it's trending, and it's been trending for quite a while, but this is just my opinion. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, and if you need help scaling your business or getting clients, check out the description, and I'll catch you in the next video.